So I hope you enjoyed this kind of guided tour of this little build. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, you can find me at woodshopcowboy.com. Hope to see you around.
And here's the basic plan. What I have is a column, and this column is roughly 2 feet wide on every corner. In the middle, we're going to install a round bar. That's the goal here. This bar is going to consist of 4 legs, each leg coming off a side of the bar. The inside will be plywood, faced plywood, but trimmed in solid wood. This is a view of what the legs, kind of what I'm building right now. The legs are really just boxes. Okay. And around the edges there's going to be a frame, probably glued and mitered. And there's going to be a little dado right there on the wood, right?
And the dado on either end, you put that together with some sort of joinery, in this case a half lap miter or half lap joint, and you get a lot of strength in the torsion box that I'm building. So you can see we're working through the struts here, and now it comes to assembly time. You put one skin on, I put the frame around, I nail it in place, and then on the inside of the frame I have these little struts that form kind of some spacing. If you've ever seen a wall with just the studs and the blocking in, this is kind of the same pattern that I use on the inside here. I just kind of put these little strips on the inside, I glue them down, and then I put some blocking in between to keep them kind of separated and apart and nice and strong. And what this does is it gives me a nice solid foundational block, and when I glue and nail everything together, it's super solid, super flat, super square. Now the real trick to this entire project was the tabletop. This was a new technique to me. So I had a recycled old tabletop that I was asked to reuse, and I split it down the middle with the jigsaw a circular saw, and once that happened, then I was able to clean each edge, and I did a little cutout in the center. I got to use my circular saw pretty well here, so you can see me using a guide. And then this is a plunge cut. This cut's a little tricky to do if you're not an experienced user, but you essentially you lift open the guard, you drop the spinning blade down into the wood nice and slow, under control, and then you move it along the path of travel. And I just use a jigsaw to get the corners out. Once I get the corners out, I kind of pop this center hole out, and that's half the column. So you can see I do that twice, and then together, when you put it together, it'll form the column. So the new part of this whole process was cutting this Formica top, and the material comes in these rather large sheets, so you buy as big a sheet as you need for the project that you're going to use, and you cover the surface, both the underside of the Formica and the tabletop itself, with the contact cement. You wait a while and you put it on top of these some dowels, pull the dowels off, and then you kind of push it smooth with the J-roller. Once that happens, you can take a router with a little trim bit on it, a little bearing guided trim bit, and you just trim off the Formica sheet. And it happened to be really quick, really easy. I kind of make it look really fast here because I sped up the take, but this is a one taker. I mean, you just come in and drop it and run it, and it's a very smooth edge. You might want to go over it with a file afterwards. And just for some guidance, I put some biscuits in there. And the install. It was a relatively quick and painless install. So everything fit the first time. You can see me here in a moment. I'm about to go off and I kind of have these guided pegs, put it together, screw it into place, and surprisingly enough, just these kind of, I put about 3 brackets on each leg, 2 big side pieces. You see I kind of put it together, pull it together there, and I assemble it, and it's super strong. I can sit on it. It's a fantastic little project.